Hi everyone, my name is John and welcome to Power Yoga. This is a 60-minute power vinyasa yoga practice. So glad you can join me here for this practice today. So I'm going to get right to our props to show you what we're going to be doing today. So we're going to be doing some dynamic things and we will need some props. I'm going to highly recommend that you grab a couple of blocks, something that you can stack, something firm. It can even just be some textbooks that you might have on the shelf at home. Alrighty, so some stackable blocks or books, have those handy. And then I'm going to highly recommend also a yoga strap. This could also just be a belt, it could be a jump rope, just something long, okay? This is also going to help. So what are we going to be doing with these props today? So I've called this class a balancing act. A balancing act, which means we're going to be doing some balancing poses today, and they are pretty dynamic in nature. So, but don't worry about it. You know, sometimes we figure, oh my gosh, I can't balance on one foot, I always fall over, I lose my balance. Don't worry about that at all. Here's another tool that you can use. If you happen to be near a wall, or a table, or a chair, something like that that you can just stand next to and just place your hand up against to help you with some balance, then go ahead and use it. Alrighty, so one of the things I'm going to be showing you is just some techniques or really just some body alignment that might help with some of the postures that perhaps you've been working on, okay? So alright, let's get right to it. Let's start in mountain pose. So I'm just going to stand near the top of the mat. You can certainly join me right here. I'm just going to take a few deep breaths in and out. I'm going to face you for a few moments here. Just slow, steady breaths in and out, just so you can get in tuned and connected with your breath. Now you can do this with your eyes opened. You can do this with your eyes closed. Just an opportunity to move inside of self. Connecting to your breath. Just slow, steady breaths at the moment. Just want to be able to feel your breath and listen to the sound of your breath. Like that ocean wave just rushing in along the beach. A wonderful way to connect, get grounded and centered. And a balancing class is really about centering, not so much always about, standing on one foot. Although we will be doing some of that, but also being able just to stand tall, an even distribution of weight in your own body, and feeling centered. Good. As you breathe in, just want to feel the breath rising upward to fill up your lungs, very expansive here up top. Then when you exhale, draw your navel inward towards your spine. Nice engagement here. Both of these things also will help with our balancing today. When you inhale, again, just feel the breath rising, filling up your lungs. Feel the nice extension through your spine. Feel tall and light. Then as you exhale, you're drawing navel inward towards your spine. We call that the abdominal lock. It's a light contraction of the abdominal muscles. It's an engaging, and it is our center. Think of this as your center body here. One more time as we inhale, just feel the breath rising, filling up your lungs, very expansive up top, that lengthening of spine. Exhale, draw to center, navel pulling inward, light contraction of the abdominal muscles, engaging the abdominal lock. Go ahead and do that 3 more times, 3 more slow, deep breaths. We'll use these breaths now to prepare our bodies to move. When you're ready, inhale and extend your arms overhead. Just reach all the way up, a nice stretch. Then exhale, let's fold forward. So a good hinge from your hips. Bend your knees as much as you need to as you slowly and carefully make your way down, perhaps touching your toes. Then inhale, slide your hands up to your shins or knees to extend your spine so you create a long, flat back like you're a table. Then exhale, we're going to come back down to forward fold. Now some of our postures will involve some hamstring stretching and lengthening.
So this is a great starting point. Just folding forward, even with a slight bend in the knees, to start to feel that extension and stretch quality through the backs of your legs. And also with the upper body, maybe take a moment to circle your shoulders. Just get some movement in the shoulders. Just loosening them up a little bit. And even nodding your head yes, shake your head no a few times. Just loosening in the upper body. Now we're going to inhale and slide hands back up to the shins or knees, re-extending your spine, feel the crown of your head lead you forward. We're going to hold here on the exhale. Again, this nice tabletop, we're parallel to the floor. Nice long spine. Now some of our postures also will involve this kind of sensation with our bodies. This nice long flat back, you want to imagine as an energy moving or shooting through the top of your head. And also an energy moving through your tailbone towards the back of the room. Let's get ready to stand. Go ahead and shift your weight back into your heels. Bend your knees and feel like you're going to sit down into a low chair. Lifting your torso, then standing up, straightening your legs. Let's take the arms up, overhead, reaching towards the ceiling. Then exhale, bring your arms down by your side, returning to mountain pose. Take a breath or two here. As we're here, let's pay attention to our feet. Now, one way you can stand is with your feet about hip distance apart, with your toes pointing directly forward. So we kind of draw these straight lines right down from the hips. And just check in with that balance, being sure you're not shifting to one side or the other, but you feel like there's an even distribution of weight between each foot, plugging directly down into the ground. All right, so this is our first balancing pose. It's just mountain pose. Let's go back to breath. Just inhale, filling up your lungs to the extension of the spine, feeling very tall, even very proud. Exhale, draw belly in, connecting. Do that one more time. Inhale, feel even taller, breath rising, feel that nice expansion through the lungs. Exhale, connect to your center, the abdominal lock. All right, let's go through that same sequence one more time, very simply. Inhale, sweep your arms out and up, reaching for the sky, extended mountain pose. Exhale, hinge at the hips with soft knees, making your way down towards toes. If you can, touch your toes. Just bend your knees a little bit more if you need to. Inhale, slide your hands up to your shins or knees, extending your spine. We're going to hold here on the exhale, pausing for a moment. This is half forward fold. Sometimes I call it monkey pose. And then shift your weight back into your heels, bend your knees, feel the hips lower as your heart lifts. And then inhale, sweep your arms out and up, grow tall, returning to extended mountain pose, reaching into the air. Exhale, hands back down by your side. Alrighty, returning to that balance on 2 feet, even distribution of weight. That lightness up top as the spine extends, keeping that core connection. All right, let's continue. It's going to move through a nice sun salutation here. Get some good movement and warmth throughout the body. Here we go. Inhale, reaching into the air, big stretch. Exhale, let's take chair pose. Weight shift back into the hips and heels as you sit back into the imaginary chair. We'll inhale, and exhale, dive out of your seat down towards your toes. Here's forward fold. Inhale, extend the spine, lifting to extend and lengthen. Exhale, fold and bend now, getting low enough to bring your hands to the ground, and walk or step both feet back to plank pose, a high push-up position. Holding for a moment, long straight line, a couple of breaths. Just building strength in the upper body. Next, exhale, bend your knees a little, send your hips into the air, just a shortcut into downward facing dog. As the hips lift, feel that re-extension of the spine. Feel free to even reposition your feet, even your hands here. Even here, although we're not balancing on one foot, it's still, I would still consider it a balancing pose. You still want to have an even distribution of weight throughout the body. Just want to be sure you're not putting too much weight up front in the hands or too far back in the hips and heels. But somewhere center, and even think of your hips in the sky as the center. Let's go ahead and continue. We're going to inhale, lift the right foot and extend the right leg back, reaching back behind you. Hold here. Lengthen. Reach through your toes, reaching up and away, maybe just to that back wall.
hands pressing firmly into the ground. We'll be doing a pose that will resemble this, but just in a different posturing. We're going to inhale here. Exhale, let's step right foot up to the top of the mat as you're able. Let's turn left heel to the floor behind you, shifting weight back into that foot. It's that same even distribution of weight. Because you might find that at first you had all the weight up front. We just shift and pull back, finding the center line. Right about your waistline is probably your center for this pose. So again, the left foot is pressed firmly into the ground, same weight as this front foot. Now, extend your torso long out over your right thigh, hinge from hips, rising up, reaching into the air for Warrior 1. We're going to open immediately into Warrior 2, settling in. Now you might not need to make any adjustments with the feet, but of course you're certainly welcome to. I'm going to take my feet just a tiny bit wider, lunging a little bit deeper so I can get that nice hip stretch that I really enjoy when I'm in Warrior 2. Same thing here. Right down through the spine, through the tailbone, that's the center of this pose. So just be aware if you've got too much weight shifting out front towards this front knee. We really don't want to experience that. Just kind of shift back and finding that center. Even as we move into side angle, which is next here, the lower half of the body pretty much stays in place. It's just this torso, just kind of shifting, okay? Just like that. And then we rotate the arms, reach down at 6 o'clock, reaching high at 12 o'clock, and there's our side angle pose. Again, not too much weight in that front foot, still an even distribution of weight, still declaring this is our center. Now this left hand in the sky might even help us feel that that's the center of this pose. Let's breathe in. Exhale, let's turn. Let's bring the hands back down to the floor. Step back into plank pose. Hold. Strong straight line. This is going to come in handy a little bit later because we have a pose that will involve plank. Let's take another shortcut to down dog. Just bend your knees a little, send your hips into the air, stepping your feet and your hands into place. Once again, finding your balance. Hold and breathe. And then we'll flow. Inhale, extend left leg up into the air. Reach long, hold. Keep breathing. Each inhale, just grow a little bit longer. When you exhale, you're still drawing belly button in towards spine to maintain the security of the pose. Let's take a breath in, preparing the body to move. Exhale, let's step left foot to the top of the mat landing. See how the weight is way forward here? We're going to pivot or turn right heel to the floor, shifting the weight back so that foot back there is plugged into the ground nicely. Feeling center. What's also going to help here to figure out where your center is can you lift your hands off the floor easily, okay, without moving any other part of your body. That's a good indicator. Then in. Well, make sure your spine is nice and long and straight out over your left thigh. Then we'll inhale and rise up, hinging from hips, reaching into the sky. Exhale, open up here to your Warrior 2. If you need to or want to, make some adjustments. I'm taking my feet out just a little bit wider, finding that center, even distribution of weight. Warrior 2. Holding here for just a moment, just feeling the power and even the balance of this pose. All right. Reaching forward without putting any extra weight in that left foot or knee. Side angle pose. Angled upper body, rotate the arms, reaching down, reaching up. Very dynamic in this extension, high and low, as you open up through your heart and hips. Let's breathe in, and we'll exhale, turn. Let's bring the hands down to the floor. Let's step back into plank pose. Pause for a moment. You can take that same shortcut to down dog or bend elbows, lower your way down, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, upward facing dog, and then exhale, downward facing dog. All right, we're just going to go through a quick flow, that same sequence, just kind of picking up the pace a little bit, still warming up the body. I'm going to add a little piece here as well. Inhale, extend right leg up, straight, strong, straight line. Bend that right knee, bring your heel down towards backside, a little lift of that knee to get a little hip opener. We're going to unwind it and step through. Right foot to the top of the mat, left heel turns to the floor, find that balance. Extend the torso. Inhale, rise up, Warrior 1. Exhale, opening Warrior 2. Right away into side angle, reach out, angled upper body, rotating the arms. We're still in motion, breathe in.
Exhale, turn towards the floor, fold and bend. Hands to the floor, step back into plank pose, bend elbows, come down, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, there's our upward facing dog. You can even take cobra pose there if you'd like. And then downward facing. Let's get ready for the other side. Inhale to extend left leg into the air. Let's get that hip opener, bend the knee, bring heel down towards backside. A bit of a lift of that left knee to open up through the hip. And we'll unwind it and step left foot to the top of the mat or near left hand. Right heel turns to the floor behind you, plug it in. Strong straight torso. Inhale, rise up, facing forward, arms up into the air. Exhale, turn to the right side of the room, arms come down to parallel warrior two. Reaching out over left thigh, rotate your arms, reach high, reach low. Inhale once you're here. Then exhale to turn, bringing both hands back down to the ground. We're going to step back into plank pose. Come down, Chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. Pause for a moment here. Take a breath or two. And then we're going to go down to the ground. Feel free just to kneel down. Sit back briefly in hero. And then sit off to the side. And swing the legs around to the front. Make sure you've got some space out there for the legs. We're going to keep the legs straight. We're going to start with the strap. We're going to take a forward fold here. So again, we're going to get back into those hamstrings. All right, let's start with flexing the feet with pretty straight legs here. It's okay if there's a slight bend in the knees. This is staff pose. You're going to place the hands on the floor by your hips. Push into the ground to assist your own torso to get nice and long. And if you can, roll your shoulders back. Facing forward. A nice energy just kind of moving up the body, through the spine, and then down the legs through the feet. Just a nice L shape. A couple more breaths. Now, even just sitting like this because the legs are pretty activated, okay? You're already getting some work done in the legs. But we are going to take that simple fold. Feel free to use a strap. Now, you don't have to use a strap, but it's just a nice tool to use if you happen to have one. I'm just going to wrap the strap around both feet. Right there. Holding onto the strap, where I can keep the elbows bent, and they're just kind of right by my side. Got a good grip of the strap here. A little tug of the strap is also going to help assist that spinal lift. So I still have that L shape in my body. Let's inhale. Get tall here. Exhale, pull belly in. A little tug of the strap to kind of pull yourself forward a little bit, creating an angled upper body. If you need to, you can always adjust your hand grip on the straps here, which I'm doing here. Okay? We're going to inhale, more extension of the spine at this new angle. Exhale, if you'd like, maybe hinge forward a bit more. Now, please feel free to bend your knees a whole lot more. Today I'm going to keep mine relatively straight, which means I don't need to go down that far. Okay, I have wonderful sensation in the legs here. I'm getting enough of a stretch. You can certainly put more bend in the knees. You can even round the spine just to go lower. And if you're not using a strap or don't have one handy, your hands can just be on your shins, out toward your ankles. Maybe you can touch your toes. Let's take 3 more breaths here in our seated forward fold. When we're done, I'm just going to rise back up nice and tall, right there. If you're using a strap, let's go ahead and just set that to the side. We'll be using that again later, so just have that nearby. I'm just scooting so I'm sitting more in the center of the mat, knees bent, leaning back, just moving into boat pose. It's another wonderful way just to engage core, which also is going to help with balance. So I'm just leaning back until my feet just float up easily into the air. Shins are parallel to the floor, flexed feet, just to activate the legs. I like to hold on for a moment to make sure I'm extending through spine, just lifting up, so I have a nice extended spine here. Make sure your chin is lifted so the whole neck is in the same alignment as the spine. Don't forget your breath. You're breathing in to fill up the lungs. Exhale, core engagement. Feel that contraction here. 2 more breaths. And we'll get ready to move and continue. Let's breathe in And exhale, cross legs. If you can, roll forward, catch yourself with your hands. Let's hop or step back into plank pose. Strong straight line. We're going to right side plank, which means the right hand is going to stay on the floor. But you're going to open up towards the left side of the room, just turning sideways. It's just side plank. Several things you can do here. One, if you need some extra stability this first time through, bring the right knee to the floor. Perfectly fine, okay? Otherwise, if you're ready, want to hop right into this, straight legs. To keep the legs straight and strong, flex your feet. Okay, flex your feet, that'll keep the legs strong. You can keep one leg stacked on top of the other, or you can put one in front of the other for a little bit more stability. For a little extra challenge, maybe just pick up that top leg. We're gonna breathe in, exhale, turn, bring both hands to the floor. If you need to rest, please feel free. It's a lot of pressure on the hands. And then join me on the other side, left side plank. Perfectly fine to bring that left knee to the ground, or keep legs straight, keep them strong by flexing the feet, because that will engage the muscles. Now be aware if your hips, especially that left hip, be aware if you're sinking like I am at the moment. You want to feel like your right hip is reaching and lifting towards the ceiling. If you need a little extra stability, just stagger the feet. And if you want, for a little extra, pick up the right foot. Let's inhale. Exhale, return to plank pose. Let's take a shortcut to down dog. Strong straight spine. Inhale, fill yourself up. Exhale, walk, step, or hop both feet up to the top of the mat. Inhale to extend your spine. Monkey pose. Exhale, fold. Let's just hold that for a moment. Nice release. And then a weight shift into the heels. Bend your knees. Inhale, reverse swan dive. Come up to standing, reaching into the air. And exhale, arms down by your side. Wonderful. Now we are going to get into some balancing on one foot, okay? And I like to start with tree pose. I think that's a nice introductory position for standing on one foot. But like always, let's start with 2 feet on the ground and take a few breaths. So we're making our way to tree pose, Vrikshasana. Start shifting your weight over into your right foot and just feel the foot just kind of root down into the ground. When you inhale, just get nice and tall, lengthen spine, again, filling up your lungs. Exhale, draw belly in, nice engagement. This is the setup to prepare the body to peel left foot up off the floor, lifting the knee, bent knee, maybe thighs parallel to the ground. We're going to swing this out to the side, just opening up through the hip and just placing the foot somewhere on the inside of the standing leg. I tend to place my foot just below the knee along the calf. Once you're here, inhale, reach both arms up into the sky. And exhale, draw belly in. I usually keep my arms kind of out like a V shape. It just provides a little bit more space in my shoulders and neck. Now you want to find something out in front of you to focus on. This too is a part of the balancing act. Looking at something out in front of you, or look at something on the floor. Just drop your eyes, just not your head, just your eyes. And look at something on the floor to help you balance. 2 more breaths here. Keep the arms as they are. Let's swing that left knee forward, lifting knee with the flexed foot. That just activates the leg, giving it strength and energy. And then plant the foot into the ground. Feel that weight shift. Balance on 2 feet, and then bring arms down by your side. That's a long time keeping the arms in the air, so go ahead and give them a little shake. Okay, while you're resting there, don't worry if you're unable to stand there that long on one foot. Here's some extra things. Okay, just watch, okay? Maybe you're near a table or a wall or a chair. Just brace yourself up against a chair on that object. Just use that. That's perfectly fine for your balancing. Even just where you might place your foot. Like I said, I kind of default to my calf. If you want, for a little extra challenge, maybe bring this foot up to inner thigh. All right? If you need more balance, however, maybe bring the foot down to the floor. My heel is just above the ankle bone there, and my toes are on the floor, so you may not need the wall there to help you balance. Okay? So that's just some things you can do as you're kind of working your way towards balancing on one foot. Okay, let's get set up for the other side. Use those other extra props, wall, table, chair. Come to mountain pose, balanced on 2 feet. Let's put a little softness in the knees. Just want to make sure the knees aren't locked. Start shifting weight over to the left foot. Root down. Inhale, get nice and tall, lengthen spine, fill up your lungs. Exhale, engage core, then peel right foot up off the floor, flexing the foot. Thigh parallel to the ground here. We're going to swing that knee out and plug it in. Okay, again, I default to my calf. You can bring it up higher or take it low where the toes touch the ground. Then inhale, let's take the arms up into the air. Getting tall and long through the spine. Exhale, pull belly in, engaging the abdominal lock. Finding something to focus on out in front of you or down on the ground. That act is called drishti, or dristi, okay? It just means to gaze, or it's your gaze, what you're focusing on. Your breath can also be drishti, just focusing on breath. It's okay if you lose your balance or need to step out of the pose, perfectly natural. All right, let's keep arms extended as best as you can. Let's swing that right knee forward, lifting knee, flexed foot. Let's plant the foot into the ground, rebalance on 2 feet as you bring your arms down by your side. Finishing a mountain pose, and then shake it all out. Wonderful. Okay, let's go through a quick flow. Just keep the body moving. We're going to come back up to standing because I've got some more things we're going to do in standing, okay? All right, here we go. Inhale, take the arms out and up. Exhale, swan dive forward.
Inhale, monkey pose, long flat back. Exhale, fold and bend, bring the hands to the floor, walk, step, or even jump both feet back, plank pose. Come down right away, chaturanga dandasana. Inhale, upward facing dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. Let's inhale, extend right leg up. Bend and twist open. And then unwind so you can step the right foot to the top of the mat. Turn left heel to the floor behind you. Feel balanced. Long spine. Then inhale, hinge from hips, rising up, warrior 1.
Exhale, opening to warrior 2. Side angle pose, reaching out, rotate the arms. Inhale, opening up. Exhale, move and turn.
Hands to the floor, step back, plank pose. Stay here. We're going to right side plank. Just opening up to the left side of the room. Right knee can still come to the ground if you need to. Okay, or straight legs, flexed feet, strong legs. Maybe lifting this left foot. Now if you can, bend the left knee. Turn that knee towards ceiling and just gently place the foot or toes on the extended leg. Got it? Let's breathe in. Exhale, carefully turn, re-extend that back leg, toes on the ground, plank, chaturanga. Inhale, up dog, and exhale, downward facing dog. All right, other side. Inhale, extend left leg up, bend and twist. Unwind on the exhale, stepping through. Left foot to the top of the mat, right heel plants, extending spine. Inhale, rising.
Exhale, opening, warrior 2. Right away, side angle. Rotate your arms. Good extension, high and low as you inhale.
Exhale, turn the body, bring the hands to the floor, step back, plank, hold plank. Now left side plank, so left hand stays on the floor, turning sideways, bringing knee to the ground if you'd like, or legs are straight, flexed feet, stacked or staggered. As you can, pick up the right foot, bend that knee, turn the knee towards ceiling, bring those toes lightly to this extended leg. Another balancing act right here. Breathing in, exhale, turning, back down to the floor, extend the legs, both feet on the ground. Chaturanga. Inhale, up dog, and exhale, downward facing dog. All right, take another seat, bring the knees down, sit back briefly in hero, sit off to the side, swing the legs around to the front, right here. Now we're going to take the legs wide, okay? But I'm going to turn to face you to do this. Let's see if I can scoot back here. And just take the legs wide. Maybe hands behind you. That way you can stay very tall here. Because sometimes I know when I sit like this, I collapse in my own back. So just the hand press into the floor behind me will just keep the torso extended and lifted. Flex the feet here so your toes are pointing up. Okay? So it's just a kind of a wide angle in the legs.
You can certainly bring them in closer if that's better. If you can take them wider, that's fine. Couple breaths. Now here's something I want to talk about, and it's just kind of this alignment in the legs. As we sit, especially with the leg kind of out to the side, just kind of focusing on the right leg for a moment, kind of straight out, the knee is kind of pointing straight up, go down the shin, toes are pointing straight up. Now, what we're going to create is an inner spiral, okay, watch my thumb, an inner spiral and an outer spiral with the entire leg, okay? You can really just use your knee and your toes as a guide. So the inner spiral is going to turn that leg inward. See how my toes just kind of turned in? But you're really kind of turning from this portion of the leg. Okay, now this works for some particular postures or even transitioning into some postures, okay? But in some of the poses that we're going to be doing today, we need an outer spiral. So turning the leg out, okay? We want to turn that leg from its socket, turning it outward. We're going to be doing a balancing pose, standing on one foot, and the other leg is going to be extending out to the side, and we need this outer rotation. And when we're standing, the pelvis is also in a different location, okay? And with that outer spiral, while we're standing, it's just going to tip the pelvis in just the correct way, so it still acts like a bowl, okay? So it stays level. Okay? Otherwise, we'll get kind of this inner spiral and the bowl will tip forward and then you fall over. Okay? So we need to dial that leg back. That'll help the pelvic bowl stay even. Now, it probably doesn't make much sense as I'm talking about it, but it might make a little bit more sense once we're in the pose. Okay, let's bring this back up to neutral. Let's focus on the left leg. Okay, let's do an inner spiral. Just notice how that feels. You can even just use your hands and kind of assist that rotation in. And then we're going to rotate out. And that's what we want to feel in the upcoming balancing poses. This outer rotation, outer spiral. Okay, just sometimes I might say even rolling backward, but that may not make the most sense. Alrighty, and then we get a nice hamstring stretch at the same time. Alright, let's rest, maybe lean back, bend the knees, and bring the feet together here for Cobbler's pose or bound angle. Okay, your hands can still be behind you here to help you extend spine. You can stay nice and tall. I'm going to turn sideways here. You can stay nice and tall in the posture, or feel free to kind of hinge forward a little bit. That'll just put a little extra more sensation in the inner thighs. And again, it's okay to round your back a little bit here too. And the hands can come in front. Let's just take 3 more breaths. We'll get back to our sequencing. We'll get up to those standing postures. Let's go ahead and hinge our way up. Just keep leaning back and bring the knees together. We're going to return to boat pose. When you lean back, the feet become light and they can just float into the air, holding onto the bent knees to ensure an extended spine. Breathing in to fill up your lungs. Exhale, engage your core. One more time. And we're going to move on this one. Inhale here. Exhale, cross legs, hands in front. Okay, or to the side so you can hop or step back, or just swing the legs back, returning to plank pose. Strong straight line. Take a shortcut to down dog. Bend the knees, send your hips into the air. Downward facing dog. Hold for a moment, just to help re-extend spine as best as you can. To do that, just put a little bit more bend in the knees. And then send the hips up while the hands press into the ground. Inhale, fill up your lungs. Exhale, walk, step, or hop both feet up to the top of the mat to your forward fold. Inhale to extend spine. Exhale, fold. Nice release here. Weight shift into the heels, bend your knees. Inhale, reverse swan dive. Let's return to standing, reaching into the air. Exhale, arms down by your side. Wonderfully done. Alrighty. Okay, so we're going back to some balancing, okay? We're going to do 2 sets here. Now, one we're going to do with bent knees, but we're going to still be thinking about that outer spiral. Again, since we're tall, the pelvis is, tipped a different way.
compared to when we're seated, okay? So let's do this. Start shifting your weight over into right foot. Root down, feel tall. Core connected on the exhale. Let's lift the left foot. We're going to catch the shin, okay, with the left hand. Maybe just give a little extra lift. Place this right hand on your hip. And what you're doing with this hand is actually pushing downward. As you push hip down, you want to feel tall up top. Just a little bit more space in the waistline. And then just carry this left knee to the left side of the room a little bit, right there. Just hold on to it. Now this is kind of an option, okay, if you are unable or not going to go for that leg extension, which I'm going to show you in a moment, okay? But what you can kind of play with here is a little soccer kick, okay? When the knee goes in, that's an inner spiral, like that. And then when the foot comes forward and the knee goes back, that's an outer spiral. So do that a couple times. Just kick the soccer ball. A little swinging there. Inner spiral, outer spiral. And then we're going to release and just bring this to tree pose, just the foot. We're not going to worry about the arms here for a moment. Okay? And just swing this left knee forward, plant the foot into the ground, even walk that out and shake it out. Okay? All right, same thing other side. First, we'd like to start in that strong mountain pose. Start shifting weight into left foot. Core connected on the exhale. Let's pick up the right foot. We're going to catch the shin or just below the knee with the hand. Let's take left hand, place it on the hip. Push down as you extend the spine, get nice and tall. There. Let's take this knee out a little bit. Doesn't have to go too far to the side of the room, just opening. And we can do our soccer kicking, okay? There's inner spiral, kick the ball, outer spiral. Inner, outer, okay? So we're just rotating on that hip socket. And then we're going to come to tree pose, just placing foot on the inner leg. Don't worry about the arm extension. We'll just hold here for a second. And then we'll swing that knee forward, plant the foot into the ground, arms down by your side, finishing there. Okay? Now, we're going to do those again. That's option A. We're going to give you option B. Option B, you can use a strap, okay? So just follow me, okay? Grab your strap. Make sure it's all long here. I'm going to place that strap underneath the left foot, okay? And then just hold on to the strap in the hand. Soften the knees, shifting weight into right foot. We're just going to pick up the left foot, kind of like when we grab hold of the shin, okay? We're just got a hold of the strap here. Right hand on hip, get nice and tall. We're going to swing that knee out to the side, and as best as you can, start extending that leg. We've got a nice extension because we've got the strap, okay, holding onto the strap. So you might be able to extend it fully, okay, or partially. Now this is where we want that outer spiral, okay? Here, I'm going to hold on to my strap at a different place, right out here so I can extend my arm. Whoa, losing my balance. There we are, extending. We want to feel that leg turn backward, okay, outer spiral. That keeps the pelvis even so that you're still nice and tall here. And that's what we want to do when we do this leg extension posture, okay? And we're going to bend that knee, placing foot on the inner leg there for the tree style pose. Swing the knee forward, place it on the floor, okay? That's it. Now, let's do the same leg, but I'm going to do it without the strap. Now you can try it, this is option 3, option C, okay? Now you can do it with the strap, option B, or try option C. Same thing, okay? Shifting weight into right foot, core engage, I'm picking up the left, catching the shin, but now I'm going to take my peace fingers here, reach down, grab the big toe, and then get nice and tall, hand on hip. Let me find my balance, there we go. Kind of opening this up and extending the leg. It might be a partial extension or full extension and getting that outer spiral. Keeping the pelvis nicely aligned and even for the extension. I'm going to release and bring foot to the inner leg. For tree, you can go ahead and take the arms up if your arms are free. Swing that left knee forward, plant the foot, arms down by your side. Woo, how you doing? All right, we're going to do that same thing, other side, okay?
First with the strap. Let me adjust my mat here for a quick second there. Okay. Now we're going to take that strap, placing it underneath the right foot, right there, and just standing in mountain pose. Start shifting weight into left foot, root down, nice and tall and long through the spine, core connected. We're going to pick up, it's like you're a marionette puppet, just pick up the foot. Okay? And just swinging the knee out to the side a little bit. Left hand on hip. And as you're able, extending the leg. It's okay if it's low, okay? It doesn't have to be high at all. And maybe a full extension if you're able. I'm just reposition my hand on the strap. Outer spiral, okay? Okay, this is inner, we want outer. Keeping the pelvis neutral so you can stay nice and tall in the pose. We're bending the knee, tree pose, right there. Swinging knee forward, plant the foot back down into the ground. Let's do it a third time, okay? Option C, I should say. Okay? Or you can do option B again with the strap. Shifting weight into left foot, picking up the right. Catch the shin at first, lifting, releasing, make peace fingers with the hand. Reach down, grab big toe. Now see how I'm come folded over here? I want to stand up nice and tall. Hand on hip, swing it open a little bit, and begin my extension, partially or fully. Mine's probably partial at the moment. And then outer spiral. It's subtle, but it is opened. You want to feel like your tailbone is pointing down towards the ground. Releasing, placing foot on the inner leg, maybe arms in the air for your tree pose. Swinging knee forward, plant the foot into the ground, arms down by your side. Shake all of that out. That's a lot of work. That's our balancing act, okay? So the little secret there, the little nugget of interest there is that outer spiral, turning the legs outward, because that might help with balance, okay? As far as the nice alignment in the upper body and standing up tall. Okay, let's put a sequence together. Okay, it is going to start with those balancing poses. Feel free to use your strap for this. It's the exact same thing, but feel free to use the strap or maybe do it freely. I'm going to do it freely. Find mountain pose. Feet about hip distance apart, toes forward. Balance on 2 feet, even distribution of weight. Check in with shoulders, just roll them back. Chest proud. Soft knees. Take a breath. Okay, follow me because I'm adding a few extra things here. Start shifting your weight into your right foot. Let's pick up the left foot. Okay, now you've got a strap around that left foot, okay? I'm going to hold on to my shin, but then take my peace fingers, reach down, go get big toe. Make sure I'm sitting up or standing up nice and tall. Right hand is on my hip. I'm swinging the left knee out to the side and extending the leg. Making sure I'm getting an outer rotation. I'm going to release those toes coming to tree pose, so foot to the inner leg. You can even release the strap here if you've got it. Take the arms up into the air, nice and tall. All right, listen. We're going to swing this left knee forward, lifting knee, flex foot. We're going to bend the right knee, the leg you're standing on, hinge forward and extend that left leg back, landing on your toes back there. You'll be on the high lunge. So you're on your toes behind you, reaching into the air. There we are, high lunge. Take a breath in. Exhale, open, warrior 2. Side angle pose, reaching out, rotate the arms. This is all a repeat of what we've been doing already. Let's breathe in. Exhale, turn, hands to the floor. Step back, plank pose. Stay here, right side plank. Opening up to the left side of the room. Stacked legs if you can, flexed feet. If you can, pick up left foot, bend the left knee, turn it towards ceiling, placing foot on the inner leg. Here's an added bonus, if you can. Bringing that knee in towards body. If you can, go get that big toe with your fingers and extend the leg. Wow. Outer spiral. Releasing. Back to plank pose. Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog.
All right, let's extend right leg up into the air. Right foot to the top of the mat. Return to the high lunge.
All 10 toes are pointing forward, right here. We're going to hinge forward here, stepping forward into chair pose. Stand up tall, and then bring arms down by your side. Shake it all out.
So that's our sequence, okay? Let's do the other side.
Grab your strap. If you are using it, you're going to place it underneath your right foot. Get ready. Let's start shifting weight into the left foot now. Let's pick up the right foot. Using the strap or just catch the shin. Now here, that other option is just swing that knee open, okay? You don't have to grab the big toe. Hand on hip. I am going to go for that big toe though. And go for the extension. If you're holding onto the shin, you don't have to extend. But you can do that same soccer kicking to establish the outer spiral. Release and come to tree pose. Release the strap, foot to the inner leg, take both arms up into the air. We're swinging the right knee forward, lifting knee with the flexed foot. Stay here. Bend the left knee slightly. Hinge forward as you extend the right leg back and set the toes on the ground behind you. Rising up nice and tall, you'll be in high lunge. Breathe in. And our exhale opening to warrior two. Right away into side angle. Reaching high, reaching low. Breathing in. Exhale, turn, hands to the floor, step back, plank pose. Left side plank. Okay, you can still bring that left knee to the ground if you'd like. Stacked or staggered feet. If you can, pick up the right foot, bend the knee, turn knee towards ceiling, foot on the inner leg like tree pose. Or bring knee in towards your body and grab big toe and extend the leg, outer spiral. Release. Come back down to the earth, plank pose. Chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Let's extend left leg into the air. Left foot to the top of the mat, high lunge. Right there. Now we're hinging forward, putting weight into the front foot so we can step forward into chair pose. And then stand up tall, reaching into the sky.
Exhale, arms return to your side. Very well done. That's our balancing act. Let's take a couple breaths here. Balance on 2 feet. We're going to be working our way back down to the ground, and we'll come to our closing sequence. Find your mountain pose. When you're ready, inhale, sweep the arms out and up, get tall. Exhale, swan dive.
Inhale, spinal extension. Exhale, fold and bend, hands to the floor. Hop or step back, plank pose. Come down if you'd like, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, up dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. Hold for a moment here. Okay, we're going to take another seat. You can hop forward, cross your legs to take a seat, or do what we've done before, just kneel down. Take a seat in the center of your mat.
I'm just moving my strap over here. All right, this is where you want to have your blocks. Have them nearby, sitting in the center of your mat, and go ahead and roll down onto your back. You can go ahead and hug your knees into your chest. Any intuitive movement here is fine. I tend to maybe rock side to side, softly and slowly. A little figure 8, circles, just to massage the low back a little bit. We're going to bridge pose. It's a back bend, but we're going to use the blocks or those books, whatever you've got. So you're just going to set the feet onto the floor, knees bent. Hold here for a moment. Take a couple of breaths just to reestablish that connection with breath. With all that movement and balancing, sometimes we can lose contact or connection with the breathing. So make sure we come back to that. All right, grab your blocks. Now, my blocks are not that thick. Okay, so I'm using 2. If you have 1 thicker yoga block, that should do it, okay? So I'm gonna press my feet into the floor, getting my hips as high as I can. I'm sliding both my blocks underneath me to sit on. You just kind of check in with the height and how this might feel. If you've got a thicker block, 2 might be too high, okay? So just use 1. Or maybe you've got a couple of books. So I call this a supported bridge pose, and that's exactly what we want here. Just want to be able to sit and kind of relax into this kind of a variation of a back bend. We are going to add some leg extensions, kind of acting like balancing. Okay? So staying seated on your books or blocks, we're going to extend one leg into the air and then the other leg. Just like that. Having the elevated hips, at least for me, makes this a little bit more comfortable because I don't feel like my back feels strained. Sometimes lying flat on my back with the legs in the air, it seems like my back has to do a lot of work. This doesn't seem as much work, okay? Just being elevated a little bit. Maybe it's because of the angle, okay? Now the legs are activated here just to keep them straight, but feel free to let them go loose, bend the knees, and then add some other intuitive movement. I tend to do some bicycle pedaling here, just to get into the knee joints, a little bit into the hips, and then some movement of the feet. So you can see my feet, I'm just circling the feet, making circles with the ankles, and then flexing the feet, pointing toes, and maybe you can even wiggle your toes. Just kind of getting into that. And a re-extension of the legs. And then we're going to bend the knees, set the feet down onto the floor. Press into the floor, lifting your hips so you can remove your blocks. Come back down. Let's get a hip opener here. Bring the legs together so they touch. And then you're going to open the knees out to the left and to the right. One to the left, one to the right. And just kind of like you're opening a big book. And the soles of the feet touch. We're getting a nice stretch of the inner thigh. And this is kind of a natural outer rotation that's happening here. So this is another wonderful way to help that sensation, especially if you're needing a little bit more flexibility in the legs and getting that nice outer spiral feel. So something like this will do it, okay? Just lying down, feet together, knees bent, opened, just like this. So our reclining bound angle pose is a wonderful way to open up the hips that doesn't feel too strenuous. Now my legs, they do touch the ground, but let's say your legs don't touch the ground here. This is where your blocks or books can come in handy again, okay? Just kind of, if the legs are just kind of hanging out in space there, just take your books or blocks, tuck them underneath and let the legs rest. Literally let them rest so that the muscles can release and relax, stretch with ease without feeling strenuous at all. Nice deep breaths here. I'm going to do a twist, and the twist is going to be both an inner spiral and an outer spiral at the same time in the legs, okay? 2 more breaths. Let's bring the knees back up to center. Keep knees bent, feet flat on the floor for a moment. You might need to move your blocks out of the way, but you can use the blocks again. I'll show you how you can use your blocks again, so keep them handy. Now, take your feet a little bit wider, actually much wider on your mat, so your feet are at the edge, outer edges of the mat here. Knees are pointing straight up, but the legs are wide. Okay? At the same time, you're going to send both knees over to the left side. Okay? Now, the left leg, okay, that's the outer spiral of that leg, but the right knee dipping to the inside is creating an inner spiral. This is nice too. Practice both inner and outer because it'll just give you a little bit more flexibility as far as that rotation, the full rotation of the leg in its socket. Now, this right knee we have to pay attention to. Because of the inner spiral,
at least for me, I'm feeling a little tension in the knee as it's dipping towards the floor. If I held here too long, this wouldn't feel comfortable at all. So this is where you want to get a pillow or a book or a block and see if I can get it, if I can reach. There we are. And so the knee, if you can see this, my knee is now resting on that block. Much better, much better. Doesn't feel like it's being pulled in an odd way. And then hold for a couple more breaths. I call this a windshield wiper twist. Alrighty, and we're complete. Let's come back up to center. Hold center for a moment, just kind of this neutral placement of the legs and their hips. And then making sure the feet are wide, slowly start taking both knees over to the right side. Now the right leg is experiencing the outer spiral, while the left leg is getting the inner spiral. Now for me, for some reason, this feels fine. I don't really need the support of the block underneath the left knee, but I'm going to do it anyway. Okay. See if I can reach. Just want to get something there so the leg can rest on it. So it doesn't feel like it's pulling too hard, because it can feel odd on that knee. It just feels kind of out of place. 3 more breaths. And after the third breath, we're going to slowly and carefully return to center. Pause there for a moment. Let's make our way into Shavasana. Just extend the legs out onto the floor in front. Arms just resting down by your side. You might even take a nice full breath in. Fill yourself up. Good energy. And then exhale completely. Release and relax. Just feel the whole body just disengage, melt into the ground. And here's something else that's happening in regards to that outer spiral. Now, if everything goes loose and relaxed, your feet might naturally fall open or out to the side. And that's affecting the knees and hips, creating that outer rotation. So even this is a nice practice of getting that outer rotation for the legs and hips. Hold here. Maybe close your eyes. Focus on your breathing. Relax. Slow, steady breaths. Your focus can be up at the ceiling. You might close your eyes, and your focus is inward. Shavasana can also be about balance. It's a reminder that we need to rest. We do a lot of movement, working. We are always and constantly on the go. We have to be sure that we find balance by resting. Shavasana reminds us of that. As you're holding here in Shavasana, just know that you can stay here as long as you like. Even as I end the practice, you're welcome to stay right where you are. Take the rest that you need and deserve. When it is time to move, start with breath. Just take 5 slow, deep breaths. Again, if you want to stay here longer, just stay here. Don't worry about the deep breathing just yet. Only when it's time to move. Just re-energize the body by taking these deep breaths. Feeling movement return to the body. It might be just subtle movements. fifth breath, moving in slow motion. Carefully roll onto either side of your body. Still moving slowly, guide your way up to seated. Sitting up nice and tall, you might be sitting on a block or pillow or blanket. Maybe crossing your legs, nice long spine, arms relaxed down by your side. Let's take one more movement together. Inhale, extend your arms into the air. Exhale, bring your palms together and down to your heart space, your center, balanced. Breathe in and breathe out. And as we come to the close of our practice together, we bow, saying Namaste.